Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're going to complete the two cards that we did stencil work on last week, okay? In the main video on Friday, we did the other stenciled cards, turned them into happy birthday cards. These we're gonna turn into cards today. So I have the postage die set that goes with waffle flowers, stencils to create the different scenes. So we're just going to cut this out of our main stenciling that we did originally. And I'm just using a little piece of washi tape. Once I line it up, I'm going to attach it by just in one spot. And I'm sorry I'm off camera, but it's easier for me to make sure that I'm lined up with it close to me. And then we're going to turn it upside down so that way it cuts up into the plate. And then because I don't have much room, I have to slide it towards me. And then there's our piece. So I'm going to put this to the back and move it out of the way. That was my Gemini. And then we're going to go ahead and get this piece out. I love how this creates that sort of like, I guess you would call it a postage element, you know, with the circles and everything. I will tell you this, if you don't have that tool that clears out all the holes just by rubbing it up against, then just grab your pokey tool and you can see I'm just going through each hole and popping out all of the paper that was stuck in the circles. It's annoying, but you just I wanted to do it so that way when I go to use this again, it's already cleaned and we can just use it. We don't have to clean it out, then try and use it. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just easier that way. So I'm just going to clear off all these little dots and throw them into the trash next to me. And then we're going to move some stuff around and we're going to get started on our cards. So when I first got the postage stamp set, the stencil that came with it was for Christmas. So I decided on the green side, I'm going to do the Christmas stencils. And then on the blue, we're going to do something else different. Okay. So I'm going to grab some crushed olive and I have the Twisted Citron and Rusty Hinge. Those are the three colors that I'm going to be using on this collection. So what I'm doing is lining up the image to make sure everything is lining up perfectly. And then I'm going to flip it over and add some tape to the back. And I'm just using washi tape. I always keep some out. Sometimes it's stuff that I don't think I'll use. And sometimes, you know, because I try not to obviously grab stuff that I think I'm going to use on projects and stuff. But, yeah, sometimes I just grab it and use it. It's easier that way. Now, the first color we're using is the crushed olive. And this particular stencil set is 4 stencils, okay? So after this one, we're going to use the crushed olive again because it's going to be like we did color on top of color to create contrast, if that makes sense. But then I also realized that in certain areas, some of this is brand new inking. So it's not like a shadow or something like that from where we just did our stencil work. But once I have it lined up, I am going to grab it and just go through all 6 blocks. And this would be fun to play with. You know, it's very interesting because obviously you have a deer at the bottom, so you kind of want to be realistic for the deer. But then, so like what do you do with the other blocks? You know what I mean? And as I hold it up close, it's kind of hard to see because it is tone on tone. But there are layers within the trees and the deer as well. And now we're going to line up. I'm going to take the washi tape off, line back up the stencil, making sure everything's in the right spot, and then turn it over and put the washi tape back down. And I think on this one is where I first grab the rusty wow, I can't even speak, rusty hinge. It turns out I just wanted a brown because I was thinking for the antlers and stuff like that, that would be really great. And rusty hinge happened to be on my desk, and it's just a little bit more of an orangey brown. But I wasn't mad at it. I think it was perfect. And then when we take off the stencil, there we have our layers, and then we're going to finish out with this final layer. And with this one, we're going to do the Twisted Citron. All right, so line up, tape on the back, and then we're going to grab that citron and go all over. Now, on with these stencils, what's great is there's no holes, so you don't have to worry about if you're gonna go into another section. Like, I love the fact that everything is solid and you're literally just focusing on the squares, the individual squares, and what is there for you to stencil your ink through. And then there's the final project. Awesome. I like how that one turned out. Now for this one, we're going to do something a little different. So I had in mind doing, using a stamp set, like silhouettes, little silhouettes, in each of the blocks. Okay. And I'm going to use this Sizzix stamp set. It's in collaboration with 49 and Market. And we're going to grab 2 handheld blocks, and we're going to try and, use as many of these as we can, but trying to keep in mind too, we wanted to make sure they'll fit in each of the squares, right? So that first one wasn't quite what I was looking for. My Versaclear ink has run out. It's run its course. I don't have a refill, but I still had some, Lord, I just forgot the name of the ink. Just that quick. VersaFine. And this is the Black Onyx. And this is the ink that I always would tell people to get because I thought it was perfect for clear stamps. And I still think it's perfect for clear stamps. You get really good coverage. It doesn't take a whole lot to ink it up. And so I enjoy this ink. Now, when I can see where I need this to end, I'm going to wipe it off with a cloth and then press down, hold it for a little bit, and then lift straight up. And each of the squares, we're going to put a little bit of the leaf or flower. And this one, I think we can use 2 times. So I'm just going to ink up a little bit of the top, making sure to clear off anything that was hanging off, and then readjust and put straight down and lift up. Perfect. Now we're going to ink up a little bit more of the area and do the same thing up at the top. And I'm just pressing down and lifting straight up. I love it. I love the idea of this. This could be so fun. And you can use so many type of stamps. You could put in each of the blocks like different hearts. You could put your own butterflies. If you have like the smaller stamps and stuff like that, you can use so many things in your stash to fill in the blocks. Do you know what I mean? And then they're putting out all these other stencils, so you can do stuff that's more springtime or maybe Easter theme or, Valentine's. Like I love it. I'm so happy that they have this collection and that I actually decided to use it. I can see how people get obsessed with it because, well, it's very addicting. I could tell. Now on that one where I didn't finish with the ink, I just grabbed my black gel pen and finished the thin line. And you can't tell that it wasn't stamped all at the same time. And now for this flower, I was going to give it up. And then I decided, you know what? No, we're going to do it. We're just going to kind of push them a little bit more together. I can tilt it and we'll get just a little bit of that one flower at the very bottom, right? And then once I get it lined up, clear off a little bit of the stem, I'm just going to stamp down and pull straight up. And there you go. Look at that. All right, so now that we have all of that done, we're going to create our card bases. Now for the card base, I'm using Elizabeth Crafts white paper, and we're just going to cut it at 4 1/4. So it'll be 4 1/4 by 11, and then we'll score it at 5 1/2. So it'll be like, if you wanted it, it could be a top folding card. We're going to turn it on its side and do a side fold card. And you'll see. I just scored using my my cutter. And now I'm just using my bone folder, the press down. But we're going to start with the blue one, the one we just did with the flowers. And we're just going to put a little bit of tape in each of the postage stamp areas. And then add a little bit of glue. And then we're going to go ahead and line it up and make sure it's straight. And then we're going to put the block on top and do the same thing with this one, with the gold and the Christmas theme. And then little bits of glue in each of the boxes, and then put that one down. And then once I was done with the blue, I'm going to put that one underneath the block for a little bit, just to have a little bit of pressure. Now, Taylor Expressions has these sentiments that you can die cut out, and I've done a bunch. There are some, like my happy birthdays, that I probably need to do again, but I like having these already pre-done, so then all we have to do is attach them to our card fronts. So for the blue one, we're going to make it more of a sympathy card, and for the green goldy one, we're going to make that one a Christmas card. All right, and then the last piece is I'm looking for the matte piece to go with my title. And I just pull out the pieces that I need and try and like size them up. And eventually I wind up finding the correct size, I think right there, and it's perfect. All right. So we'll put that down, and then let's get everything put together. So with this one, the sentiment is much larger. Okay. So I was trying to figure out, where should I put it? Should I put it at the bottom? I didn't want to cover up the reindeer. So I'm going to wind up putting it right in the top center, because I just didn't like it. Like, it was almost too big because it was covering up stuff. And so I just made the decision to put my glue, and I'm going to put this one right in the center. And to show you that you can literally put your sentiment anywhere. It's up to you. You could leave one of the blocks empty, not put anything on it, and use it for a sentiment. You could have turned it vertical and done something that way. That would work, because that longer one would be perfect for a sentiment. Now on this one, on the blue one, I put it down on the bottom right hand corner. On the Christmas, we're going to use the gold spritz, the fossilized amber, and we're going to use white. I was trying to scope it out off my desk, make sure I didn't, in air quotes, put it away. And usually those are my go-to spritz, so they never go away. They're always on my desk. Now for the blue and black, I'm going to use white and black splatters for this one, because I don't necessarily want the shine. You know, I'm doing it as a sympathy card. I just want a little bit of texture, a little bit of something interesting to just kind of finish it off. And then I'm going to actually dry this first, because the black splatters were still wet, and I didn't want the white to then kind of mix in, and then it winds up being more of a gray, or, you know, it's like a swirl of color. So I just heat it from the inside, hopefully to help minimize um, the wow, why was I getting ready to say the stretching? It was starting to bend. So heating on the inside helped flatten it back out. And those are our cards. I love how they turned out. We got to play with some more stuff. We do. So keep an eye out. I'm probably going to have some more cards being made with this because it was truly fun. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great weekend. If this is your first time, please consider hitting the like, subscribe, and share button. And if you have any questions or comments, you can feel free to leave them down below as well. And as I said before, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you with our next video.